Hey folks, Pat here from DNS. This Madison area fishing report is current as of November 10th. Just a few things to go over here quick. I know I plug the Yahara Fishing Club a lot, and they are a great group of folks doing great stuff for fishing around town, but I did just want to say, give them a thanks for a great meeting they had on Wednesday out at Boulevard Lanes. They had a panel discussing the PFAS situation on Lake Monona, and I'm not going to go over all the details and stuff I learned, but it was very informative. But it's not a great situation. They're learning more and more about this situation every day, and so it's going to be a challenge to either clean all that up or I'm not sure what all the options are. But anyway, I want to thank the Yahara Fishing Club for a great meeting and keeping local anglers informed, and I would encourage all of you to support them any way that you can. As far as I guess shop news, oh yeah, they paved the road out here to Governor's Island. So this is it was always gravel there and a kind of a potholy nightmare in the wintertime. And it'd get icy and messy, and looks like it's going to be blacktop now. I'm not sure if they're going to be plowing it, but that would be great if they did. Otherwise, that blacktop will help melt things off in the wintertime. So ice fishing access down there should be a lot more pleasant. So I don't know who to thank for that, if it's the state or who even owns that, but either way, it's a good situation. We are going to be closed starting tomorrow, the 11th, through the 24th, opening up again for Small Business Saturday on the 25th. This is a tradition that Gene did for many years, and it's very slow here at the shop with deer hunting right around the corner, Thanksgiving and that. So yeah, it gives us a chance to get out and sit in the deer woods and do a bunch of fishing, and just spend some time away. And Thanksgiving, of course, too, spending time with family. And I guess speaking of Thanksgiving, since it's the season, I do just want to take a chance to thank the awesome staff I have working here. Here's Harley with a beautiful 24.5-inch walleye you got this week on the fly rod. The guys that work here are out doing it all the time. All these pics are from this week. Here's Kevin with a beautiful smallmouth. And super knowledgeable, great guys, really helped me out a lot. So I'm not spending every waking minute here at the shop. Here's Tuck with a beautiful largemouth, I think, from Wabisa. But yeah, just a great group of guys, really helping me out and very knowledgeable. So just want to thank them. That's what I'm thankful for this holiday season. When we come back on the 25th, that week, starting on Thursdays at 7 p.m., we're going to start our winter series seminar series here at the shop. Those will be Thursdays at 7 p.m. Kicking things off will be Rick Kruger, aka RK Diver. Going to be talking about a lot of secret spots around town. Rick is also he's offered to, he has, of course, extensive waypoints. I think he said 1,875 waypoints he has around Madison of different things that are marked, and he's going to be we'll be raffling one of those off as a raffle prize at that event. Plus, he brought over a bunch of Aquaview swag, and anyway, that's going to be a very informative and cool event. Then we got Noah Humfeld coming in on the 7th, talking about chasing toothy critters, and Pat Westberg, who's a local plastics expert, going to be talking about plastics on the 14th. So yeah, looking forward to getting those started again, keeping that tradition going as well. So that is, I think that's it for store announcements. Yeah. So let's get on to the report. Get the map up here. This week we had some pretty seasonal temps, maybe a little on the warm side. Looks like a decent weekend ahead with some temps in the upper 40s and 50s, but dry. The Mendota buoy is still down over here, but another resource online says Mendota surface temp was at 50 degrees this morning. Lake Monona has there's a buoy down here in Brittingham Park. That was reading 43 degrees this morning, so not much change from last week. One other great thing about the Yahara Fishing Club meetings is they do a fishing reports where people go around the room and you can talk or not talk about what you've been catching, but I heard one guy mention that he had 49 degrees on Monona on Tuesday, so if that helps anybody. Turnover has definitely happened on all the lakes. Noah Humfeld recently posted that now that turnover's happened, it's definitely game on for some of the great fishing around town. He couldn't be more right based on the reports I hear here at the shop. I did want to mention, too, about the piers around town. The county's got all their piers pulled except for one at Babcock Park, which will remain open until the ice locks things up in there, I guess. And the city has pulled all of their piers except for leaving one pier in at Olbrick, and one at Warner and one at Marshall Park. So those are your only launches left around town, and those will also be left in until ice up. So got that covered. Let's see. Generally around town, it sounds like a few floating weeds are still causing problems depending on wind and where you're at. Other than that, most of the reports I hear are of very clear water around town now that turnovers happen. Some things are changing on the fish side of things. Gills that it can still be found out in deeper water in mid-lake humps, but many of them are starting to move shallow, looking for green weeds for the winter. Also in the weeds, the perch that have been hanging out there all summer, as those weeds die back, those fish are going to start to school up and move out deeper as we get closer to ice. Um, Bass are getting a little harder to find, but if you can find green weeds, especially near a rocky break, is a good place to start. The walleye bite around town's been great, and it seems like just getting better every week that goes by. Almost all the walleye I hear about now are coming out of shallower weed edges or right in the weeds during the day and cruising shallow, often rocky shorelines at night. Pike are plentiful and have their feed bag on now, and same thing goes for the muskies. The muskie sucker bite's been great. Folks coming through the shop to pick up bait here. Speaking of, today we're going to be closed, but get in here and stock up. Got some suckers left, got some chubs and walleye, big walleye fatheads. Get stocked up, last you through this nice weekend here. But yeah, up on the rivers too. It sounds like the Wisconsin River is running a little high for this time of year. The Rock River is just a shade below average. We'll get into a little more detail here up to Cherokee Marsh. It sounds like the weeds are continue to die back up there. It sounds like some actual decent shore casting from shore in Cherokee Park here. Otherwise, if you got a small craft, you can use the school road launch and get out in the channel here. And I'm sure the pike are out there and pretty plentiful. At the 113 Bridge, haven't heard much from the catfish folks lately, but the walleye, there's been getting some walleye down there pretty good, and also some crappie mixed in. So that's a interesting revelation down there on Mendota. Haven't heard much from the panfish crowd lately, but like I said, as we get closer to ice up, gills are going to start looking for shallow green weeds. Perch are going to start moving out deep and schooling up. Haven't heard much from the largemouth folks, but the smallmouth action's been great, especially for folks running minnows under a slip bobber. I showed you that picture of Kevin. That's what he likes. He likes a chub under a slip bobber. A few of the walleye being picked up. A few walleye are still being picked up on mid-lake humps, but a lot of that action has moved to weed edges and right in the weeds. Like I mentioned, nighttime shorelines, rocky shorelines are great with fatheads and blacktail chubs under a slip bobber or under a minnow. Paddle tails and jerkbaits are working good. Areas on Mendota that have been great for those walleye. I've been hearing about fish at Picnic Point, the city shoreline, all the way up to Tenney Park. Of course, the Warner boat launch too has been good. So, but if you're on a boat, if you got steep breaks, you're looking for, Maple Bluff, Governor's Island, Fox Bluff, Second Point. These areas are all holding fish right now, and they're snapping. So get out there and enjoy some good walleye fishing. I haven't heard much out of the locks. I know they're having some trouble with some weeds coming through there, but there are fish holding up there. Otherwise, the Tenney Park Lagoon, ton of small bluegills as usual. Haven't heard any of the largemouth coming out of there lately. I did want to say too on Lake Mendota, the pike are absolutely snapping out there. Ron Bearfield sent me a couple pics. He was out with a client the other day. Got these two beautiful pike, back to back. So yeah, the fish are snapping out there, and congrats to Ron and his client for getting on some fish out there. Let's see. So Lake Monona. The bluegill bite's been great. A lot of the fish that were out deep have moved in shallow, in particular into Monona Bay here. The folks fishing along Brittingham Bay been pounding some nice bluegills in there, some crappies mixed in. Also bluegills and crappies up here in the triangles. Otherwise, I guess the bluegill bite I heard about that was going good for the last month or so down here to the Monona Terrace has kind of died off. The day bite down there, but the crappies are still hanging around. Also a great walleye bite down there at the terrace, and really up and down this whole, I don't know if you call it like kind of the southwest or west-south shoreline from the Yahara River all the way down through John Nolan down here. The walleye fishing at night's been really great down there. Over to Lake Winger, I haven't heard a lot other than the occasional decent muskie coming out of there, some good largemouth bass action. Of course, tons of gills and stuff in there, tiny gills. Otherwise, over here by the Winger Dam at the spillway there, they've been getting, or below the spillway, they've been getting some better size fish than up in the main lake. On Lake Monona, the muskie fishing has been pretty great. Sounds like, running a shallow running lure over some submerged weeds, putting a sucker by the boat. Has been super effective. I've heard about a lot of the fish I hear about are more on the south end of the lake, but The whole lake has got a great muskie population, and those fish are snapping. As we move downstream here, upper mud, the weeds continue to die back down there, and the panfish have moved in. So that action sounds like it's been pretty great. Otherwise, as far as Wabisa goes, it's kind of the same deal as Monona. A lot of the panfish have moved into shallow areas, shallow humps, shallow weeds all around the lake. The muskie bite down there also has been good. Same situation. Running suckers has been super effective. Otherwise, Babcock Park, where is the only launch they have left, down to the Bible Camp area. A nice steep break in here. Great area to look for walleyes, and I've been hearing about some fish coming out of there. Down to Lake Kegonsa. I mentioned Rick Kruger earlier. He posted on Lake Link earlier that he had a water temp of 47 degrees last week down there. Sounds like he was seeing some gills and crappies on cribs and some other structure. Otherwise, shallow weed lines are a pretty good place to start. Perch have been basically non-existent, and I haven't heard much more than spotty walleye action up here near the state park. So good to hear that there's at least some fish still down in Kegonsa. I don't hear much out of there. I guess that's it for the chain. Down here to Koshkonong, it sounds like, they've been getting some fish up here in the Black Hawk Island area. Sounds like the 26 Bridge area here has been good. And then up to Fort Atkinson, I heard about some fish coming out of Fort Atkinson. So then up to the Jefferson Dam as well as the Indian Ford Dam down here. Both dams holding good walleye, some sauger, white bass in there. Got the up to Beaver Dam. Last I heard, they were getting some good walleye up there. So and actually some decent perch mixed in with of course the eater catfish bite going on over there. Over to Crystal Lake. I guess I haven't heard much out of there lately, but I know there's a ton of yellow bass in there. Devil's Lake, those brown trout got to be cruising the shallows by now. I guess I haven't heard anything specifically in that respect, but they got to be over there. Fishing on the river, up and down the river, continues to be good. The river was a little high down here way down by Muscadet, but up by the Dells, it sounds like it's coming down. So that's that water coming out from up north. Rains they got up there and around here is kind of leaving the system now, so it's good to see the levels returning to normal. All your dams up and down the river have been good. Prairie du Sac Dam has been good for walleye sauger. Pike and muskie between the dam here and kind of the Highway 12 bridge is a real popular spot. Lots of smallmouth out there still chasing gizzard chat around, but that's getting, the smallmouth are getting harder to find, but the walleye bite and sauger bite's been great. Lake Wisconsin up here, it sounds like the walleye bite's continuing to improve, and I heard at the Yahara Fishing Club meeting about some good perch folks are picking up mixed right in with the walleye, so that's something that you don't hear about every day up there. Otherwise, your bays over here, Moon Valley and Sunset Bay, and the fingers over here to Harmony Grove, these areas sounds like they're holding good panfish, bluegills, some crappies near Wood, stuff like that. Haven't heard much out of Portage. Some good walleye and sauger action up to the Dells Dam. Some white bass in there too that I've been hearing about. Like I said, all the dams up and down the river are going to be holding fish right now. Castle Rock Dam, Petenwell, no exception there. Haven't heard much out of Castle Rock Lake, but Petenwell sounds like the walleye bite over there has been great. The Mississippi River bite sounds like walleye and sauger are getting stacked up at the dams. Also, good panfish. You got perch on weeds, crappies at near Wood along shore, bluegills pretty much everywhere else up and down the river. It sounds like the Clements barge is shut down for the season, so if you're thinking about doing that, they aren't in operation anymore. Otherwise, over here on the East Coast, we got fish coming up the tribs, from Racine all the way up to Sheboygan and beyond. But the king run is pretty much done. There's still kings to be found in the river for sure, but those fish are going to be getting moldy and kind of gross. But the cohos have started to move in, from what I hear. So folks are getting some cohos, and the browns and steelheads should also be moving in there. I think we just need maybe a little bit more water and maybe a little bit more cooler temps, and we'll see more of the browns and steelhead moving up into the tributaries. But the coho bite should be great. I'm looking forward to doing some coho fishing, maybe with Harley over there to the East Coast. We'll cruise up and down there looking for cohos, hopefully find some browns and steelhead mixed in. Of course, not much going on for the inland trout side of things, but we will do the happy fly day thing here. Egg patterns, especially now that we got browns and steelhead coming up. They love eating these egg patterns. I got a few here at the shop that are, these heavy beads. Looks like the little kind of the slimy stuff that comes along with eggs trailing off the back. These are super effective, nice heavy presentation to get down there to the fish. and super effective for those browns and steelhead, which will remain in the rivers all winter long. So stop in the shop, stock up on some of that stuff, and head over to the East Coast. There's really some great fishing to be had over there. I guess that pretty much does it for the report. I do want to wish everybody a happy Thanksgiving. Want to wish hunters a safe and successful hunt this year, and all the anglers out there. Good luck on the water. It sounds like we got some good weather coming up, so it should be some good fishing. Not sure we're going to have ice by the time we come back, but hopefully we get ice soon. We got all the ice stuff out here at the shop. Do post your catches and comments below. And I guess I usually tell people to call the shop if they have any questions, but we're going to be closed. So we'll catch you on the 25th, and good luck out there. And yeah, thanks for tuning in. Thanks so much.